My name's Rich Hayden. I own Virtual Reality Racing Club. We're here at Goodwood Festival of Speed. I'm here with Purple Sector Performance, which is a race driver training, all levels, club championship, all the way up to Le Mans level. What we do is we help them out with race simulation and driver coaching, and we do that using our SimRace Pro simulators, which you see behind me. They're really high-level simulation, and we use virtual reality to make sure that the immersion for the driver is as best as it could be, and giving them the accuracy to be able to follow the right lines and be as accurate with their driving style as they can be. One of the things we use with that is the HTC Vive Pro headset with a real high resolution. It's fantastic for driver training. It's the only way to drive a racing simulator. The average speed improvement or time improvement for a driver, a pro driver, going from screens to VR, is minimum is 1 second a lap, and the average is anywhere between 1.5 and 2 seconds per lap.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. From China to Australia, we are now here at the penultimate round of the 2020 Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. Alex Goldschmidt and MSL Motorsport Consultancy's very own Martin Jones, taking you through the play-by-play action. And Martin, what a circuit. Mount Panorama, based in New South Wales, opened back in April of 1938, has hosted such great events. We're on the full circuit, 3.861 miles, 6.213 kilometres. The most prolific of that is obviously the Virgin Australia Supercars centrepiece, the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000 that's held normally every October. This is going to be a true delight and a true test for every single driver with us this evening.
Yeah, good day, sport. Yes, what a circuit. One of the ones I must get to, but I've watched this for years and years. Just awesome, and the drivers have been there. So Win Percy, great guy. He used to be a customer of ours at the Ferrari garage, and he just said, "You've got to go." He loved it here and was very successful, of course. David Brabham is the same. He just said, "You've just got to go and look at it. It's fantastic." Looking forward to this one.
Yep, a lot of names that have won quite a lot around this circuit. The late Peter Brock, Craig Lowndes, Jamie Wincart, Mark Scaife, amongst others. Chas Mostert, who took a rookie win, I think, if memory serves me correctly, 2014, and then had a massive off going through the Dipper, which is on the far side of the circuit before everyone heads their way through Forest's Elbow, before the iconic Conrod Straight, before the chase. But it's also hosted quite a lot of events in past sort of circulation. But one of the biggest things that this circuit is going to provide, I think, Martin, is a completely different aspect of the Touring Car eSeries. You know, we go into this with 4 races remaining. We have one more round after this, so we've got not just Mount Panorama this week, but also Circuit of the Americas in Texas, where we will have our eventual winner, and the champion will receive a set of Esports pedals from OBP, a P1X chassis for second position in the championship from SimLab, a Fanatec SQ shifter for the driver in third overall at the standings, and then fourth gets a Thurstmaster T-LCM, and fifth gets a £100 Ebuyer voucher. But still, and I don't think I've ever seen a championship, a sim racing championship, be ever so close. As we have a look back quickly at the Shanghai, I mean, obviously Max Bird, Martin again, provided us with some great entertainment. You know, he was on course for a race 2 victory before an incident scuppered his chances. So he's one of 4 drivers that have won at least 2 races this season, along with Senna Proctor, Luke Whitehead, Max Bird, and also Max Coates is the only one that has won 3 races this season. And still, we go into this with the championship. I mean, for those watching at home, I mean, Jack McIntyre is 6 points ahead of Dave Marshall. So it is a VRRC Racing Team scrap. But don't count out Senna Proctor from MSL Motorsport Consultancy in the Hyundai i30. And Martin, this circuit is really going to test everybody. There's so much camber changed. There's also so much, there's so many ascents and the descents going through McPhillamy, Skyline, the S's, the Dipper, and down to Forest Elbow. These drivers are going to have a real tough test here at Mount Panorama tonight.
Yeah, I've prior to this, I was just watching Jenson Button go around on the Formula One McLaren, and he was just giggling all the way around, probably hanging on for dear life, going down from Skyline into Forest Elbow, because that is a massive descent, and we'll see it on the graphics here, I'm sure. The long straights very quick. The chase is frighteningly quick. So I think that they're going to be mastering that, and then Murray's corner just turns left on them. So a lot of great corners, a lot to watch, I'm sure.
So out of the last 16 races, we've had 11 different winners so far, with Max Coates, who is currently now 6th in the standings. We are very shortly going to be getting underway with our penultimate qualifying session of the season. As you can see, new graphics for our live timing here at VRRC, and as you can see that there's a lot of changes. Isaac Smith looks to be leading the way on a 2-minute 14.104. Max Bird, Rob Butler returns, Luke Whitehead, Rich Hayden up into P5, just over 2 seconds off of the pace. Dave Marshall, who for the majority of the season has been looking as the driver to beat, but Jack McIntyre, who's currently 7th in free practice at the moment, is leading the standings on 499 points, just 6 ahead of Dave Marshall. Senna Proctor is a further 8 points adrift on 485. Then it's Mikko Raskinen, Alex Toth-Jones. Obviously, we know that Chris Smiley and Callum Newsham are not here this evening due to prior professional commitments. So hopefully we'll see them back for the season finale at Circuit of the Americas. Air temperature, virtually speaking, 15 degrees Celsius. Track temperature, 17 degrees Celsius. As very shortly we will be going into our final qualifying session. But myself and Martin will be back in just a moment's time before we get ready for qualifying here at Mount Panorama. Well, the drivers now making their way onto the fantastic 3.861 mile, 6.213 kilometre circuit. There's Max Bird. He's now heading towards the far part of the circuit. So we've gone through Griffin's Mount, the Cutting, Reed Park, Solman, and then all the way up to McPhillamy. And this is the real test of any driver when they start coming through McPhillamy Park and down through Skyline through into the Dipper. This is where car and driver have to be as one, don't they, Martin?
Absolutely, and that gives you a perfect indication of how narrow it is. It is basically it's a street circuit. It's used during the normal days, and yeah, it's tight. And the gradient here is just unbelievable. They're falling off the cliff face. This reminds me of Laguna Seca with the corkscrew there. I've stood at the top of that and looked down and going, well, that is quite impressive going through there.
Well, I mean, it looks very much like the landing ramp for a ski jump, doesn't it? if you want to put another sort of sport vernacular into that, really, but without the snow on top.
That's a good graphic there of Press just going up the hill.
Yeah, as he's now come through Forest Elbow down towards down on Conrod Strait. Obviously, Mount Panorama has hosted over multiple seasons the Liqua Moly Bathurst 12-hour with quite a few prestigious names from across the globe, like Mauro Engel, Shane van Gisbergen, Craig Lowndes, amongst others that have competed there. As there's Josh Stanton, who's now returned. Hasn't been featuring too much, obviously, with other commitments, the number 99 Hyundai i30 from Accelerate, but the driver leading the way, having put down the benchmark with a 2 minute 17.166, is none other than Mr. Virtual Reality Racing Club himself, Rich Hayden, in the number 50 Audi RS3. And one of the big things that you need here at Mount Panorama here, Martin, is a lot of speed, and the Audi proved that at Monza. I think that could be a little bit of a deciding factor here at Mount Panorama this evening. Yeah,
definitely. I wonder what he's been doing this afternoon. Even in the Aussie V8 supercars, even the Mountain Straight, they're getting up to over 180 miles an hour. So this is a great circuit. The Audi should really go well here, and Rich is so competitive, as we know. Let's see what he does. That's a great graphic.
Yep, as now Kobe Leakins in the 44 Alfa Romeo Giulietta now goes up the hill. They'll be on his way up towards, he's going through Reed Park at the moment, then it's the left-hander through Silman Park, and you can just see how much commitment you need going through there, down the dip into McPhillamy, and that is absolutely planted, but he nerfs the wall a little bit with the right-hand side of the Alpha, and now this is where things get really, really touchy. So going through McPhillamy, down the hill, through into Skyline, and then down into the S's. This is just true commitment, and it's great to see this onboard shot as how smooth Leakins is trying to be, but the track is trying to unsettle people at any given moment here.
Oh, look at that. It's just trying to throw him off. That's just incredible.
And now he will head through Forest Elbow, down towards Conrod Strait.
And again, this is incredibly quick. I'm sure they'll be hitting the rev limiter down here, and then you're into the little kink called the chase, and that's one for big Cahooni's time.
Well, especially if you want to do what the Australians call a redress in Virgin Australia Supercars, if you might remember a couple of years ago, it involved Garth Tander and Scott McLaughlin most famously. And someone was definitely not happy about that one, and I'll leave it to you out there at home to remember who that was. You might have to do a Google search because my memory's sketchy at the best of times. But looks very smooth there through Murray's Corner from Cobby Leakins. Goes P6 on a 2 minutes 17.168, but Senna Proctor was quickest. However, Luke Whitehead, who I've seen before we went live in practice, was literally giving it absolutely the full berries round the circuit here, and he's just put in a 2 minute 15.389. That is over 7.5 tenths quicker than Rob Butler. Dave Marshall, even with 140 kilograms of ballast, is running P3. Senna Proctor fourth at the moment, and Proctor's on 130 kilos. So I think one of the interesting equations that I'm sort of working out here by just seeing how hard Proctor and Marshall are pushing, is that the ballast is actually assisting on the descents down through, say, Skyline, the S's, the Dipper, Forest Elbow, through to Conrod. You know, this is really going to help them in terms of lap time, but also in pace, because it's going to give that run of momentum with gravity assistance.
Yeah, let's see what the brakes or how the brakes hold up. There's a bit of a pattern coming here. Butler, Marshall, Proctor, not far behind Whitehead. It's interesting how this is unravelling.
Very much the case. We've got just over 13 and a quarter minutes. There's Max Coates out on circuit, 2.5 seconds off the pace as he now makes his way down. I think he's now just come through the chase and he'll be heading into Murray's Corner, or alternatively the pit lane entrance. Thanks, Max. I really was wanting to say Murray's Corner there, but at least we go to Jack McIntyre, who recently celebrated a birthday. He's now just gone P4 as Rich Hayden goes P6 with around just under 13 minutes on the clock remaining. And so Jack McIntyre will have 150 kilograms of ballast all the way through the 2 races. And McIntyre is one of 7 out of the 11 drivers that have only secured a victory. But as we both very, very well know, Martin, that it's not about how many top steps you hit. It's also about how consistent throughout the season that you can be. And Jack McIntyre, through his consistency, I mean, his highest score was actually at round 2 at Zolder with 94 points. Dave Marshall came flying out of the blocks for the very first round, which was Paul Heacard, and scored 102. But then they've been running anywhere between, I mean, I'm just looking at Dave Marshall's scores. His lowest score so far was at Barcelona with 43 points, whereas Jack McIntyre got the advantage by 33 points that round. And then it's been quite consistently equal between the two. So it's still, I still think that we could be on for a really, really good couple of races this evening, as Mikko Raskinen goes up to 11th. Looks like Thorne in the 49 has now gone up into 8th, as Josh Stanton goes P9. Let's not forget that Stanton is actually on no ballast either, because he's at the bottom of the standings. But I think that I don't think the title is going to be decided tonight. I think the title is going to be decided at the very final round, which is what we really want, isn't it, Martin?
Well, absolutely. And what a great place to do it. COTA, amazing facility. And it's the ballast is really, some of the drivers hate it. I love it. I think it's really, really kept the championship together and running through to the last round, which is what we all want.
Excuse me. That's the problem when you're trying to keep hydrated and then all of a sudden you get a cough, you get a frog in your throat.
I should have spoken a little bit longer then.
Oh, don't worry. These things happen. It's part and parcel of it. Well, Jack McIntyre goes P2 there. Oh, that was a good lap. But looks like, I think Max Bird is showing up on my timing screen on a 2. Oh, well, it's changing all the time, because Max Bird apparently has got a 2-minute 14.527. Isaac Smith is second, and he's done a 2-minute 14.789. Here's Harry again, 10th place on a 2-minute 17.620. And I'm just looking between the top 8, which is being rounded off by Senna Proctor. It's exactly 2.1 seconds on the nose between the top 8. So Max Bird looking to strike and possibly get another couple of victories on the board. I mean, he got pole position last time at Shanghai, and he's on course to do it. We've got less than half of the session remaining. But again, Max Bird, you know, came in as a wildcard entry here, Martin, and now he's part of the championship. And even through his small amounts of efforts, you know, he joined us at round 5 at Brands GP. It seems like we might have had a little bit of a technical issue there for Martin.
I don't know what happened there. I think there's no football on tonight, is there?
Not as far as I'm aware, no.
Oh,
no,
good.
I think it's just, yeah, I think...
sorry, back in the room.
Yeah, back in the room. Yeah, I just think, I mean, you can just see now it's exactly 0.6 of a second between first and, well, it's 0.262. And effectively, I think we're going to have a very, very interesting race, because at the moment, Max Bird leads. Isaac Smith, and this is with 8.5 minutes to go on the clock, is 0.262 seconds adrift in second place. Luke Whitehead is exactly 0.6 off of second in third place. Jack McIntyre is 1.6 seconds. He's now back in the pits. Rob Butler and Dave Marshall round out the top 6 positions. Rich Hayden in 7th. Senna Proctor has now... well, there has been a change, and Isaac Smith has gone top of the timesheets by just over 1/10 of a second, a 2-minute 14.418. Rob Butler improves and goes quicker still, but does not go up higher. That is a 2-minute 15.004, 0.586 off of Smith, and that's just over 0.4847 of a second off of Max Bird. Here's Andy Derrick, and it looks like that goal's been in the trenches. Yeah, that has had, I think that's been hitting quite a few bits and pieces out on the circuit, mainly a few walls, as that front windscreen is absolutely shattered, and there has been no there have been windscreens harmed, but no opera singers in the running of this broadcast. I will be completely honest.
I don't know what you're talking about there, but
exactly. All you need is a mezzo soprano, and you're good.
Oh, right, okay. I'll take your word for it.
Well,
right,
yeah.
no, he's really given that a whack.
Yes, that's definitely had quite a few bumps and bruises, I think. So
he's been playing ping pong with the concrete walls, I think.
Yeah, I think probably as soon as he got to the cutting, I think he just it was sort of like from side to side, left to right, maybe. Who knows? But only Andy Derrick can tell us that one. At the moment, he's currently P18 at the minute. Well, actually, make that P19 because for those wondering where Max Bird is on the screen at home, it is actually in second position. So the screen at home that you're watching at the minute is showing that Isaac Smith is. So as you can now see, there is the correct timing that we're showing, with just over 6 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock to go. Smith leads by just over 0.1 of a second. Butler in third. Whitehead, McIntyre, Marshall, Hayden, Proctor, Leakins, and here's Harry Omarov running at the top 10. Obviously, if he does do a few more here's Harry moments, I think that probably won't be that great. We've also got the 505 of a Mr. Gallagher in with us this evening in a very, very nice looking Castrol-esque liveried Honda Civic coming down
very,
straight. Yeah,
very, very smart. I can't see Alex Toft-Jones is missing from our time sheet. He must have a technical issue. Any updates?
I'm going to have a quick look on that at the moment, because that's the thing when you have to run 2 Discord screens, one to watch the stream, one to watch the timing.
No, right.
So let's just see if there's.
Oh, there he goes. Oh, well done. Yeah, he's.
Yes, he has. Yes. Speak of the devil, and he doth appear. There you go. Sorry, Alex. But puts the lap on the board. 9.7 seconds off of pole position, with around about 4 minutes and 50 still to go on the clock. So it's been in a 2-minute 24.121 there, and he's got on board this week 110 kilos of ballast. As you can just see, he's pushing that Hyundai the absolute limit, coming up through the far part of the circuit.
Very smooth. Great lines through there.
So now we'll be going through Reed Park, I think, into Sulman, and then down the dip into McPhillamy.
And now the commitment comes in. This bit is awesome. Let's stay with him. It's just so ballistic.
Yeah, through Skyline, he'll come through now, down into the S's. We're going through into the Dipper. So through into the S's. Now it's the dipper, and this is where the descent really starts to take a hold, and it's full commitment. Nicely done there by Toth Jones, picking up some good momentum down into the left at Forest Elbow, before they go on to Conrod Straight, as we have 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock remaining. Smith still leading Bird by just over a tenth of a second. Butler and Whitehead, I think, might have called it quits for the session, as Toth Jones now makes his way down towards the chase.
Yeah, that will be flat out. It'll be absolutely screaming, that car.
Yeah, it's bouncing off the rev limiter at the moment before he gets into the braking zone, into the chase. Nicely done here by Alex Toth Jones. Through the left, into the right. Now into the left, 90 left at Murray's Corner, which will put them onto the pit straight. Yeah, takes a wider line. Oh, bit of grass there taken by the number 11, but he comes across the start-finish line. Let's see. Where does Alex Toth Jones improves to? Crosses the line. I'm waiting for the time to register. I'm not too sure if he did improve that time. He did a 2 minutes 17. That's a 2 minutes 17.994. That should effectively put him behind Max Coates, so into 19th position. So a significant improvement there by Alex, but obviously he's still got a little bit of time. I think this might be his last opportunity to get up the order. As there's Andy Carroll in the 95 Cupra Leon.
Just shows you that looked very smooth when we picked him up there. But this circuit, you really have to connect. The whole lot is concentration.
Yeah, it is. It's about full commitment, full concentration, and having, as the Spanish would say, the cojones to make sure that you have the full commitment and the bravado to make sure that you can make up as much time as possible. But now, look at the battle for pole position. Oh my goodness me, Max Bird.
Oh wow!
12 thousandths quicker in the dying moments of this session, ahead of Isaac Smith in the 123 Hyundai. And I think Max Bird realises, well, I might be able to... Well, he's just sort of dented the left-hand side of that Honda Civic that's just gone provisional pole, with a minute and 20 still to go on the clock. But here comes Isaac Smith coming round towards Murray's Corner. And his last lap was a 2 minute 30.549. The 123 Hyundai now crosses the line. Just wondering if that has been an improvement from him. It was a 2 minute 15.027. That looks like Rob Butler has called it quits. Into the last 60 seconds of the session, Butler has pitted, Marshall has pitted, Leakins has pitted. They're currently 3rd, 5th and 10th respectively. Paul Laramie is down in, well, effectively 19th. So Alex Toth Jones' lap time. Well, Alex Toth Jones has just shown up again. Yeah, 18th position for the number 11 Hyundai from MSL Motorsport Consultancy at 2 minutes 17.784, but he is wrestling with over 100 kilos of ballast in that car. So Isaac Smith looking to try and see if he can have one final attempt coming up the hill for the final time here at Mount Panorama. And it's going to be very, very interesting if he can keep it on the black stuff and not make any undue mistakes, as well, the back end nearly steps out a bit there, going through into McPhillamy and into Skyline before heading down the S's and into the dipper. Checkered flag is now out. Max Bird has pitted, and this will be the closest ever decision for a pole position in the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries. The penultimate round being held here at Mount Panorama, here at Bathurst in New South Wales. As now we go on board. Lovely angle here from our broadcasting team at Simply Race. A big thank you for Mike Yao for providing us with such stellar camera angles as we're on board on the left door briefly, as Isaac Smith makes his way down into the chase, first into the right, then into the left, braking heavily. Brake discs on that Hyundai i30 aglow, as now he will head down towards Murray's Corner for the final time and decides to bail out. So Max Bird again for the second round in succession, has taken pole position in a VRRC Touring Car eSeries qualifying session. Here's Jack McIntyre down in 6th position. Let's see if he's been able to find just under 0.3 of a second on Dave Marshall on that last lap. He's going to come across the start-finish line here at Mount Panorama, and that is a 2 minute 16.19184. So just over half a tenth off of his best lap, but not enough to catch up to Dave Marshall. So the penultimate round here at Mount Panorama sees Max Bird in the number 12 Honda Civic. Well, it says 71. There's two 71s. I see 12 on the side of it. The Honda Civic takes pole position by just 12 thousandths of a second here at Mount Panorama, ahead of Isaac Smith in the 123 Hyundai. Rob Butler rounds out the top three, nearly 0.6 of a second adrift in the number 74. Ahead of Luke Whitehead, Dave Marshall and Jack McIntyre will start on row number 3, with Marshall ahead in the 66 and McIntyre in the 37 just behind. Carroll and Proctor will end up on row number 4 ahead of Hayden and West. So that is Andy Carroll, Senna Proctor, Rich Hayden, and James West, aka Gamer Muscle, making his return to the series. Kobe Leakins will be the second quickest of the Alfa Romeos, just under half a second slower than the 07. Mikko Raskinen will round out row 6 ahead of Gallagher and Cole in the 2 Honda Civics in the 505 and the 302. They'll round out row number 7. Harry Omerod in the 77 will have Josh Stanton alongside on row 8. Then Scott Thorne and Alex Toth-Jones rounding out the top 9 rows, with Max Coates and Paul Laramie rounding out the top 20 positions here at Bathurst. But a great qualifying session there, Martin. Really close to the top.
And again, we keep saying it. Well done, Max Bird. Absolutely flying, pardon the pun. Just very, very, very quick. Takes to it, and he's off. Very impressed. Thank you. Smith couldn't be closer. And Butler, he's right up there again. This is going to be a belting race. We've got championship racing, and we've got racing for the win of this event. What more can we ask for?
Exactly. But also I wanted to talk again about MSL Motorsport Consultancy and VRRC's partnership, having come on board with the Mini Challenge UK eSeries, which was a fantastic success, really, really good ratings. And obviously now with the Touring Car eSeries, 10 rounds over 10 weeks. But obviously there's a lot of developments in the pipeline. There's just been a GT4 series announced. How is the relationship between MSL and VRRC at the moment with the push in not just the real life side of things, obviously with you guys working with Alex Toth-Jones in the Porsche Sprint Challenge GB, where Alex took a 7th and a 4th place finish in both races after a disaster in qualifying, but also for the sim racing aspects as well, because it's really, really good to see these other drivers getting these opportunities through these kind of championships to show that they are just as capable of those drivers that have made it through from grassroots, like say from Alex Toth-Jones, who made it from karting, from Trent Valley Kart Club, all the way to where he is now.
Yeah, it's all right. No, it's a fantastic involvement. We're very proud of our association with VRRC. Rich Hayden and his vision for this is brilliant. Thanks to Mike Yao and yourself, Max Coates, for making it all happen. And if it's really successful, why not do it?
Yeah, I think we're just waiting to see. Yeah, we just. I think I might just be heading down very shortly to actually speak to our pole sitter, Martin. So I will be back with you in just a moment's time.
Right, I'll leave you to it.
Well, Max Bird, congratulations! But the closest qualifying margin, 12 thousandths. Well done, first of all. But it was looking very touch and go between yourself and Isaac as to who was going to steal pole position this evening at Mount Panorama.
Yeah, definitely. I think the race is going to be very difficult. I think Isaac's very quick. I think he made a mistake on his fastest lap. So yeah, no, happy with pole, but I think it's going to be a good race. And
one of the other sort of like things that I've noticed through the qualifying sessions, obviously, you've got the drivers that have got a considerable amount of ballast, let's say. I mean, yourself, you've got no ballast, but then you've got the likes of Jack McIntyre, and Dave Marshall, Senna Proctor, who are the top 3 in the championship. They've all got quite hefty ballast, but in terms of the gravity aspect of having that ballast on board, do you think that might play into, say, coming down through McPhillamy and going through the more sort of gravity-driven sections of the circuit itself, like, say, Skyline, Dipper, Forest Elbow? I think that could make a little bit of a change to proceedings, wouldn't you admit?
Yeah, I think I can agree with that, definitely. But I do think, obviously the weight affects the tyre degradation and all that sort of thing. So I think that unless they can have a good first few laps, I don't think that they're going to be coming into play in this race, to be honest.
Well, Max, congratulations on securing pole position in the penultimate round of the season by the closest margin, mate. All the very best of luck here at Mount Panorama this evening for both races.
Cheers, thank you very much.
There, as we are literally, I think, a minute away from getting our first race of the evening going from lights out here at Mount Panorama. But your thoughts briefly, Martin, before we go racing.
Just it's going to be so close, the front 2. I think if the 3rd place starts squabbling, I think there's a good chance that Max will disappear again.
So, as you can see, it is Max Bird, and alongside him will be Isaac Smith on the front row here at Mount Panorama. We are less than 40 seconds away from getting this race going here. And the great thing is that it might be raining in a real sense here, but in the virtual world, it is sunshine from up above here in New South Wales, as we are literally, I think the anticipation is building. We've had 11 winners from 16 different races so far. Who's going to be adding their name to that list this evening? The lights go up on the starting gantry, and when they go out, we will be racing here at Mount Panorama. And we are off. A great start there by Isaac. Yep, Isaac Smith gets a blinding start on Max Bird. And you can see that both Luke Whitehead and Rob Butler trying to go into held corner for the first time. Trying to go side by side as all. There's a few cars off. One of them looks to be James West. The other one looks to be Nico Haskinen. Oh, and there's there's a mess behind, and that also involves Bobby Leakins being one of them, as well as Gallagher in the 505. As now, at the moment, Isaac Smith getting the lead going into Quarry Bend, and they'll head into the right at the cutting.
And I'm just looking at one of our championship contenders disappearing to 22nd.
Oh, that's Jack McIntyre, the points leader, coming into this round. But look at Dave Marshall. He's way up ahead in P5 at the moment. So at the minute, it is Smith from Bird, Butler in Smith from Bird, Butler in 3rd. That rhymes. Whitehead in 4th. Marshall, Carroll, Proctor, West, Raskinen, and Rich Hayden rounding out the top 10. But look at Alex Toth-Jones. He's definitely made good his opportunity. And the number 11... funny enough, is up into 11th position on the very first lap. 18 minutes, 47 seconds, plus an additional lap still to go as they make their way down through the S's. As you can just see the front end trying to break away from Max Bird as they go through the Dipper and into the S's. Oh, this is going to be absolutely fantastic as they now make their way through the second part of the Dipper, down into the left at Forest Elbow. So it looks like there was a brief glance on the right-hand wall coming out of the corner by Isaac Smith as they head down Conrod Straight, where Virgin Australia supercars will be hitting near to 190 plus miles an hour. These touring cars will probably be hitting around about 150 to 155 and bouncing off the rev limiter as they head into the right-hand kink that leads into the chase. But already... I think just look at the gaps, Martin. They are literally, you can't keep people apart at the moment. But the biggest gap at the moment in what is the top 7 is between Max Bird and Rob Butler.
Yep.
And this is Mellors and Gallagher battling over 20th position going into the chase as Isaac Smith sets the fastest lap at 2 minutes 17.257. Oh, Gallagher runs wide. Mellors ran the outside through the right-hander on the exit of the chase, heading into Murray's corner. Brilliantly done there by the number 92. But Gallagher senses an opportunity looking up the inside through Murray's corner. And the 92 says, oh, no, you don't, mate.
I think our championship leader has disappeared. I can't see
Yeah.
him.
Now that's really, really odd, because at the end of it all, one of the things that I must completely be truthful here, it was going to be a case that I felt that Bathurst was going to be that round that really could decide things here, and could possibly give someone. DNF for Jack McIntyre on the first lap. He's been put on his roof. I've just been told by the broadcast director. Oh, Jack McIntyre came into this with such great motivation, and now he's out of the race, and that puts him on completely the back foot. That's a DNF and no score here at race 1, and that means he's got 3 races to just keep pushing forward, hasn't he, Martin?
If he wasn't focused before, he will be now. Great start from Alex Toft-Jones, really on the back of Ruskinen now. There's battles all over the place here. Rich Hayden, he's just being, he's probably been on it all day, and watch him in a little bit. I'm just looking at the gap between Smith and Bird. Yeah, it's pretty much staying the same.
But in many respects here, Martin, Isaac Smith did a 2 minute 17.257, and then Max Bird was over he's 0.43 tenths of a second, 0.43 seconds adrift on that last lap, and you can see that the gap is sort of like increasing and decreasing depending on how they're really grabbing these touring cars by the scruff of their necks. As now Max Bird comes through Murray's corner, as there is James West, who's now up into 8th position in the leading Alfa Romeo Giulietta, whereas Kobe Leakins is actually down in 22nd position. And here's the move up the inside. Oh, great move by Senna Proctor up the inside of Andy Carroll through into Hell corner. That was for 6th position. But it looks like the Alfa having a really good turn of speed. Looks like lap time improvements for Stanton, Omerod, Cole, Coates, Derek, Laramie, Press and Gallagher. We've got Barry Wedgwood saying, come on, Max Coates. On Facebook, Moira Scott saying, missing Jordan Brennan and Callum Newton. Oh, no. Now that is up Mountain Straight.
That was rude.
Oh, that was not what Andy Carroll wanted at all. And that has dropped him out of the top 10. Alex Toth-Jones now takes 10th position. Well, actually, Andy Carroll now dropping out. That could be very quickly outside the top 15. That is the case. So, that could even be the top 20.
I'll be surprised if he gets going after that. That was a very heavy shunt.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. It's not exactly the best sort of accident that you want, and especially when it's down Mountain Straight heading up to Quarry Bend. But James West looking to really keep Senna Proctor very, very honest. Looking at the lap times last time around, James West actually put in a 2 minute 16.942. Senna Proctor, with the amount of ballast that he's got on his Hyundai, a 2 minute 17.476 as Max Coates gets past John Cole for 14th position. Alex Toth-Jones is just under 6 tenths off of Mikko Raskinen for 9th place. But the gap now between Isaac Smith, as now we go with this is James West, as he's this is obviously a little bit further back. So there is always a slight delay, but you can just see how hard he's pushing. Looks like he's got a Fanatec F1 style steering wheel there, as you can just see how much he's wrestling with the front end of the Alfa Romeo, just literally hustling it through the corners there, Martin.
Yeah, he's enjoying himself. He's got his comfy socks on, so he'll be all right.
Yeah. I can't really see whether they're Adidas, Slazenger, or a marquee name in terms of socks, but at least they're doing the job for him at the moment. As now we've had another change, as Proctor now gets ahead, still ahead of James West. Mikko Raskinen now sets a personal best on that particular lap, 12 minutes and 50 plus an additional lap. But drama in the first race of the penultimate round of the season, as Alex Toth-Jones goes, sorry, Alex, I didn't realise you were going to be in World RX this weekend at Höljes in Sweden, because he just kept on bouncing over the grass trap there coming out of Hell Corner. But so did Mikko Raskinen. And,
the
good thing is that it's
it looked like the Space Hub Championship.
Yes, I was Space Hopper champ. Space Hopper, crikey! I remember those when I was a kid. My godfathers. That's but yeah, it does. At least the good thing is that things are starting to sort of get into some sort of good flow. Is Andy Derrick, who won the the reverse grid top 10 race at reverse grid race at Shanghai, actually keeping pace with Max Coates of all people. Paul Laramie trying to close up on John Cole for what is 16th position, and the front windscreen on that Audi looking very, very second-hand as well. There have been a few incidents that looks like there's a few dented pixels on the back bumper as well of the RS3 as he's trying to hustle his way past, and then looks like, I don't think that Audi, apart from the roof panel, Martin, has got every other panel looks to have been dented in some way, shape or form.
I don't think they bothered fixing it from last week.
Well, it wasn't him that was using it last week. It was Jordan Brennan.
Well,
so
there you
Paul,
go.
Yeah, well, there we go. So Jordan Brennan said to Andy, said to Paul Laramie, there you go, mate. There's your car back. What have you done to this then? Well, we were racing in Shanghai. Anything goes.
That really is pixelated.
But now, at the moment, the gap between Isaac... Well, now, there has just been a bit of a change because all of a sudden, I've just seen that Max Bird was showing ahead of Isaac Smith, and then it changed all... Oh, that was very, very quickly changed indeed. But I think it's just probably my eyesight. I need to go to Specsavers again. But, Laramie going side by side with John Cole going through the exit of the chase, and that did not work out. Gallagher towards the outside of the Audi going through into Murray's, and we'll try and see if he can get the cut back, possibly not. But then gets into the slipstream going into Hell Corner. So still quite a lot of everything going on, as looks like James West has got past Rich Hayden. There's Rob Butler trying to close down Max Bird and bringing him along with he's bringing along with him Luke Whitehead, who has won 2 races and actually took a maximum score at Snetterton 300 at round number 6. So but just I was quite surprised that with, we had 2 really good races. I think we had some of the standout best races of the season last time out a week ago at Shanghai. And now, Martin, things have now started to get to some sort of equilibrium here at Bathurst. But we know that the reverse grid race is going to change everything, isn't it?
Yeah, this race is 9 minutes to go, and it looks like they've settled down. There are little squabbles going on all over the place, but I think that we've seen what happens. Smith's disappeared. Rob Butler's not making any impression on Max Bird. Whitehead is pretty close now to Butler. That's the one to watch, I think.
Yeah, and here's Harry Omerod yet again trying to close on Scott Thorne. I was wondering where he was. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that he hasn't been in the top 10 for the majority of the race, so that's probably why he hasn't got much screen time. But Josh Stanton's had a really good run. He's up into 11th place ahead of these 2 body-in-white Honda body-in-white touring cars, with the Honda in front of the Hyundai. So at the moment, I think it's looking really, really good for Dave Marshall at the minute, because, when you consider how it's been such a disaster for Jack McIntyre this evening on the very first race, as Alex Toth-Jones sets a personal best of a 2 minute 17.780. How quickly things can change in an instant.
Absolutely, it's such a shame. So I was looking forward to seeing how he got on, because that McIntyre he is quick, and he is racing for a championship.
Here's the battle now for 9th position. Alex Toth-Jones getting really, really up close and personal on Mikko Raskinen. But look just up ahead. This is a 4-way scrap for what's going to be 7th on the road, being led by James West, Rich Hayden. Raskinen really coming under pressure from Alex Toth-Jones as they go up the hill. Oh, just keep it clean here. One slight mistake and you're going to end up coming a cropper into the wall, as I've seen many occasions when, especially when qualifying happens for the Super Cheap Auto Bathurst 1000, which there has been some news about quite recently, is Alex Toth-Jones trying to go up the inside. Oh, nearly threads the eye of the needle there through going down Skyline into the dipper. But Toth-Jones just waits for his chance. And I think one of the things that he will be able to do here, Martin, is to use the momentum going through Forest's Elbow to go down Conrod Straight and have the run on the Volkswagen.
Yeah, absolutely. And if he gets, he's got to get this last bend, this kink right onto the straight. Here we go.
So let's just see how the momentum builds for the number 11 MSL Motorsport Consultancy Hyundai i30 of Alex Toth-Jones. Will he close up quickly towards Mick Godaskin heading into the chase? Not on this occasion. There's now Max Bird looks to have made...
That Golf was sneaky quick down that straight.
Well, that Golf has actually been, I think in some respects, you know, you've got some cars that have been really good through the twisty stuff, but the Volkswagen Golf has been pretty good, I think, just as a generic all-rounder. And that's not just talking about its production model cousin, let's say. As now we still have, as James West is going side by side through Hell Corner with, of all people, Rich Hayden, as Alex Toth-Jones does a bit more space hopping through the exit of Hell Corner there, going onto the grass. Easy does it there, Alex. You don't want to cause yourself a problem, as Rich Hayden now blasting his way past, or is he? Oh, now this is going to be very, very close going into Quarry Bend. Rich Hayden will have the inside line, but James West just keeps it planted round the outside, and then we'll have the apex in his possession going into the cutting, which he does. That's a great move there by Gamer Muscle in the 07. And I'm sure that Rich Hayden will probably be laughing about that one and going, I know I must have just lost out of position, but that was a hell of a move.
It was one hell of a move. Do like the colour scheme.
Yeah, I think it's definitely one of the more colourful liveries that we have here in the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. As they're now still battling away over 7th position, as flames shooting out of the back exhaust, centre exhaust pipe of the Audi as they go through the S's down into the dipper. And again, I think this is going to be the biggest battle that we'll have all the way through this race. But there's another one that I'm just keeping an eye on, that Luke Whitehead is closing up to Rob Butler, just over 0.6 of a second ahead in P3 at the moment.
All of a sudden, there's a 4-car battle for 7th place.
Yes, so looking very, very interesting coming down Conrod Straight, heading down in towards the chase. Here at Mount Panorama, 4 minutes and 13 still to go, plus an additional lap. And at the moment, Isaac Smith, I'm just checking to see, he has taken a win earlier on this season, and it was back at the second race of round 3 at Monza, where he finished ahead of Luke Whitehead and Rich Hayden. And Hayden took his only win of the series so far back in the first race, having snatched pole position. Oh! Rich Hayden nearly lost it completely coming out of Murray's corner.
And that's put Skinner right on his tail. I know he's looking at him.
That right-hand side of that Audi must be feeling a little bit bruised and battered after that one. But the thing is that when you go into a 90 right, it's going to be very, very difficult if the car starts running wide to try and control it, and especially with the direct drive force feedback these drivers will have set on their steering wheel hubs. I'm sure that because we both know that you've got Alex Toth-Jones alongside Rich Hayden at VRRC at the moment, and I'm wondering whether Alex is smiling, sort of like realising, well, hang on a second, Rich has just had a moment, hasn't he?
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be asking Alex a bit later on, after the broadcast, of course. But this is a great battle. So this is 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th, all covered by less than 2 seconds. That's how close it's being at the moment. 2 minutes and 40 plus an additional lap, and there is still time left in the books for anything to happen. But the leader still running away with it, as Isaac Smith still has what is effectively now, it's working its way towards nigh on a 4-second lead, possibly, over Max Bird. Rob Butler back now again, and I'm just looking when was the last time he was actually with us at round 7 at Sepang, and had someone replace him last time out at Shanghai. So I think we'll be going on to the penultimate lap here, as we've got just under 2 minutes remaining. So, and they're running it when Isaac Smith has been running at a 2 minute 15.6. So the next time around he'll get the final lap shown to him. As Alaskinen trying to close up once again on Rich Hayden as they go through into the chase, having come off of the flat out and full throttle at Conrod Straight. Now down the dip, heading towards the left at Murray's corner. Rich Hayden trying to go around the outside of Gamer Muscle, and he doesn't tag the wall this time. 2 wheels on the grass, but loses out on traction as Laskinen now closes on the Audi as Hayden goes towards the inside to defend. A little bit of contact between them. And here comes Alex Toth-Jones. No space hopping from the number 11 this time, as now they go up Mountain Straight. And that looks, yes, Toth-Jones has managed to, through that, get past Mikko Raskinen for 9th position as they head up Mountain Straight and down towards Quarry Bend, the right-hander. And it looks like that Toth-Jones will still have the inside run, but Raskinen still to the outside and powers round the Hyundai. How is that humanly possible?
That Golf is sneaky quick.
I think that sneakily quick, I think, is a definitive understatement when it comes to that particular vehicle, I must admit. But still, kudos to Mikko Raskinen for hanging on like that. That was an absolutely brilliant dice with Alex Toth-Jones.
Yeah. The audacity of the man.
Exactly. So, I doff my cap to Mikko Raskinen for, I think, one of the moves of the evening so far, as we head into the last few seconds of the race. As now Rich Hayden gets past James West, or does he? No. No! And that's down through the dipper, and Rich Hayden tries to get past James West, can't get past, drops back down to 8th, and then all of a sudden, Mikko Raskinen tries to get past as Hayden gets compromised, as they now come out of Forest Elbow, down Conrod Straight, and this is going to be rather interesting, I fear.
It's just whether he throws it in or not. And I think he's looking at it. Here we go. Wait for it.
Right, so not that. So we've had the final lap board shown. They clatter into each other a little bit there. Raskinen saw the gap, went up the inside of Hayden. And Hayden gets a touch from behind. Hang on. Alex Toth-Jones, stop playing bumper cars. You did enough of that at the weekend at Donington Park during quali. Sorry, I had to say it. Bless him. But at least with this
You're
one...
so kind.
Well, I think the thing is that at the end of the day, that will be looked at by the stewards and race control, because that kind... now Rich Hayden now loses momentum, goes very, very wide out of the corner, and then Alex Toth-Jones just sweeps up the inside. And in many respects, look at the dented pixelation on that Audi there, because now Rich Hayden, that Audi, I hopefully think that he's got a lot of repairing to do on that car before race 2 very, very shortly.
Yes, to have a raise or an eraser for virtual reality racing, because he's going to have to get it out.
Yeah, I think that's going to need more than just an HB pencil and a few tracing stickers as well. But Raskinen actually hits the wall. Yeah, great. That's a great bit of prompting from our broadcast director, Mike Yao, saying, he's going to have to do a control out and delete. Yeah, just switch it off and flick it back on. That'll probably do the job as well. But we're on to the final lap, and still this battle for 7th position is remaining unabated. Alex Toth-Jones clearly in the hunt to try and get past Mikko Raskinen. James West has managed to keep himself in 7th position despite the best efforts of Rich Hayden. Meanwhile, Isaac Smith is coming through the chase for the final time here at Race 1 at Mount Panorama in the penultimate round of the 2020 Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car E-Series. Into the left at Murray's Corner comes the Hyundai of Isaac Smith, and this time around he will take the checkered flag to win and take his second win of the season, and not too far behind, taking a second place, is going to be Max Bird. Rob Butler will take third, as now James West has lost out big time to Mikko Raskinen. That front windscreen of that Alpha has had some major shocks go through it, as Alex Toth-Jones makes it through on Conrod, but then James West trying to go up the inside through into the chase. The Alfa Romeo might not have enough room to get through, as Alex Toth-Jones just absolutely sweeps through. Senna Proctor will finish in 6th place, but Mikko Raskinen will now come through Murray's Corner as Rich Hayden tries to go up the inside of James West, who in turn tries to go up the inside of Alex Toth-Jones and loses out big time and gets a little nerve for his troubles, thanks to Rich Hayden, as Rich Hayden takes 9th. Oh, that battle for 7th position was eventually won by Mikko Raskinen ahead of Alex Toth-Jones. Rich Hayden in 9th, James West in 10th. Here's Harry Omerod rounding out the top 11 ahead of Andy Derrick, who takes 12th place. Scott Thorne will take 14th ahead of Josh Stanton. And then we've got Gallagher in the 505 will finish 15th ahead of John Cole and Andy Carroll, who managed to get the Cupra Leon back up and running to finish 17th. Colby Leakins in a very battered and bruised Alfa Romeo Giulietta now crosses the line to take 18th ahead of Paul Laramie. Then it will be Kenny Press who will round out the top 20 positions. Max Coates will finish in 21st place. Andy Mellors looks to be the last of the runners and riders here. But the biggest news here is that points leader coming into this round, Jack McIntyre, ended up on his roof on the very first lap, and that has changed the title dynamic significantly there, Martin, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, massively so, and such a shame. But the racing was just great, wasn't it? There were scraps all over the place, and yeah, there's little pockets of resistance from various people that don't want to get out of the way and can make the car quite wide. And this isn't a track that is wide, so very entertaining. Thanks, guys.
Right, okay, I'm going to head down to the interview booth to speak to our top 3 as they're on their cool-down lap here at Mount Panorama. Okay, well, firstly, let's have a chat to our 2-time race winner in the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car E-Series, Isaac Smith. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it was obviously quite hard work. I've got Max Bird to race with. He's got no weight, so I had a good start and got my head down and just kept my nose clean throughout the race, and yeah, it's paid off.
So that makes you a 2-time winner, equaling the likes of Senna Proctor, Max Coates, who has taken 3 to his credit, but he's done 2 previously. Max Bird and also Luke Whitehead. You're now one of 5 drivers that have done that this season. You must be feeling pretty good after, as you say, it's quite strenuous behind the wheel, and it's not an easy circuit to navigate here at Bathurst.
No, it's definitely not. With the walls around you, it really gets you. You've got to get your head down, otherwise you're going to have an accident. So, yeah, it does feel quite good. Yeah. Thank you.
Well done, Isaac. Max Bird, our pole sitter for this round, but it wasn't to be another race victory. You got 2 on the board this season already, but still a 2nd place. You must be happy with getting that a good amount of points after what's been a very difficult first race here at Mount Panorama.
Yeah, no, it was a good race in the end. Obviously, Isaac got a really good start and then just sort of kept his constant pace throughout the race. But I think I seemed to be attracted to the barriers up around the mountain section, and yeah, that sort of restricted me from going any faster, really.
I think that was the same with a lot of competitors, because myself and Martin, we did see quite a few dented pixels, let's say, on a few of the cars, and there was a great battle, obviously, for 7th position. But heading into race 2, obviously the second races of every VRRC Touring Car E-Series event so far have provided a lot of drama. I'm sure that we can expect that very shortly. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, most definitely, and I think as well it's going to be one of the hardest tracks to sort of come through the pack, because obviously there's not really a lot of taking spots apart from the straights, really. So yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting race.
Okay, well, all the very best of luck, Max Bird and Isaac Smith, our respective second place and winner of race 1 here at Mount Panorama. Martin, we've just got a few moments to go until our first race. I think we've got about 3.5 minutes, but it's looking rather exciting, isn't it?
Oh, bring it on! These reverse grids are always provide some great entertainment. Not that wasn't entertaining, but bring on race 2.
So we've got about 3 minutes so to go, but we will be back in just a moment's time here in New South Wales in Australia for race 2, the penultimate round of the 2020 Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, brought to you in association with MSL Motorsport Consultancy and heatingshop.ie. We'll be back in just a moment's time. Just going to mute my mic a second and go for a quick drink. So we are 30 seconds away from getting our second and final race for the penultimate round of the VRRC Touring Car eSeries underway here at Mount Panorama, the mountain, Bathurst. And it's definitely one that's had a lot of history over the past few decades as the lights now start to ignite on the gantry. When the 6 lights go out, we will be racing. Wait for it, hold on to your hats, grab a hold of something, and watch what unfolds before your very eyes as Max Coates and Kenny Press will start from the front row, and we are lights out and racing here at Mount Panorama. The mad dash towards Hell Corner for the first time as Coates up the inside of Press for the first time, and a little bit further down the order it's 3-4 abreast. Everyone's going a bit of space hopping on the right hand side out of coming out of Hell Corner as Max Coates gets the run on Kenny Press as they head up Mountain Straight, up towards the right-hander at Quarry Bend. It is very tight here at Mount Panorama, and there are, it's nearly 3 abreast. I think Harry Omrod was 2 wheels on the grass, just back there a little bit further down the order, as Luke Whitehead was side by side with Senna Proctor. Paul Laramie now getting the legs under the Audi.
Oh, somebody's gone sideways.
Oh, Luke
right.
Whitehead's off.
Not
no,
again.
Senna Proctor and John. No, that's Tom. That's Gallagher in the 505. Some more carnage going up towards the cutting. So this means we've now got Max Coates on lap 1 trying to break away, and he's got a gap of nearly a second over Kenny Press, and we haven't even completed the first minute and a half of this It looks to be drama-filled race, as you can see that Andy Carroll closing on the back bumper. Oh, turns around. Oh, that's going into Skyline.
No.
Oh, my goodness me. And Josh Stanton can't do anything about it. Paul Laramie's now in the pits. Oh, what? Oh, my days. Oh, Cobby Leakins going off. And that was going down through Skyline and into the S's. The Alfa Romeo just about got away with it. Well, unfortunately, the windscreen didn't, but how lucky was he?
Massively so.
There's more drama. Look, I think that's Scott Thorne. Scott Thorne's just gone down the order. So James West is up to 5th. Rob Butler up to 6th. Alex Toth-Jones, Senna Proctor. Isaac Smith, Dave Marshall and Jack McIntyre now round out the top 11 as Proctor gets past Toth-Jones for 7th place. Mamma mia.
What went on there? They didn't have enough time to take on some E-number Smarties or anything like that. That was just ballistic.
I think in the words of the late Winston Davies, right, you horrible lot.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Well, if anyone might remember the TV show, some mothers do have them. Very, very famous Welsh actor, Winston Davies. As now, it's the battle of the two title protagonists. Well, at the moment, Jack McIntyre looked to get back on the good foot. Trying to go up the inside now of Dave Marshall, who, by my assumptive estimation, is actually now back in the lead of the standings. But now that was a great move up the inside of Marshall for 10th position by McIntyre, Kimmo Raskinen. So John Cole, DNF'd. Rich Hayden in the pits. Josh Stanton in the pits. Paul Laramie, I think, is back out on the circuit. But again, the reverse grid race, again, Martin, rears its ugly head and changes the championship once again.
I'm going to have to watch the highlights just to see that again, because I think that was the biggest one we've had so far, the biggest shunt, so to speak.
Well, I think, yeah, we did have... Well, I think that's the biggest one, I think, since Paul Ricard, when John Cole and Rich Hayden had that moment when John Cole hit the tyre stack, and then along came Rich Hayden and had nowhere to go. But this is a great little battle here. You can just see a little bit of a Scandinavian flick going through McPhillamy by Dave Marshall as they now go down into Skyline. It's the amount of control that these drivers had. Now, let's not forget that Dave Marshall actually won the Sim Racer title for the Mini Challenge UK E-Series, whereas Max Coates won the other title for the real-life drivers. So Dave Marshall, not a slouch at all. He's been very, very competitive, and always good to see when he makes sure that the VRRC gets a welcome plug ahead of each race evening. And that has just been quite literally, I think, one of the most heart in the mouth moments, I think, from my perspective as a commentator when it comes to sim racing. I've not seen anything like that. Someone going skywards upside down over McPhillamy.
No, I don't think I have as well. It's incredible. I think the graphics on these guys, that the guys produced.
A little bit of a touch there.
Oh, here we go.
There's a little bit of side-by-side argy-bargy there between Senna Proctor and James West going through Murray's corner, but then Proctor's got the inside run through Hell corner and gets past the Alfa Romeo, but only for just how long will that be, as Isaac Smith now up into... effectively, that is going to be 8th position, as that's brave from James West. Oh, you don't go door to door with Senna Proctor unless you mean it, and that is very, very much the case. Senna Proctor, oh, you can see how scuffed up the left front wing of that Hyundai now looks. That blue paint looking to be a shadow of its former self there on the left-hand front corner of the Hyundai i30 is the Alfa Romeo going up into Solman and then up towards McPhillamy. Oh my goodness me, James West doesn't get past Senna Proctor, but Isaac Smith is closing at a big rate of knots. Cobby Leakins just up ahead of this battle for 6th position in P5, whereas Max Coates has sprinted away and has got a gap of 4.5 seconds over Andy Carroll, as Isaac Smith swarming all over the back bumper of James West for 7th position. This is not letting up, and we are 6 minutes into this race, and it is all for themselves as they go down through Skyline, through. Oh no! Smith's off into the
Oh.
barriers on the right-hand side.
Oh,
Oh,
that was a
my
big one.
goodness.
That really was a big one.
I think that's a DNF right there and then, because we've also had Josh Stanton DNF. Rich Hayden now in the pits. Max Bird is now dropping out down the order. As now West is closing on the back, the battle ahead, which has got Senna Proctor and Kobe Leakins battling over 5th position. Oh, too wide down Conrad, heading into the chase. And it looks like that Senna Proctor's really got the handle of that Hyundai i30 with that amount of ballast, 130 kilos on it, and he's just literally dragged his way past Kobe Leakins in the Alfa Romeo, and James West not too far behind as they go through the left into the exit of the chase before they now go down the dip into Murray's Corner. And at the moment, what we've also had is that Isaac Smith is now running in 13th position, and he's still done the fastest lap of the race at 2 minutes 16.947. But we do have 2 retirees as now we go on board with the back windscreen cam of Senna Proctor here on the number 18 Hyundai i30N. Mikko Raskinen sets the personal best, and looks like Smith is changing with Andy Mellors at the moment for P13. Jack McIntyre now has got past Alex Toth-Jones, so getting some sort of resurgence at the minute. But the pair are side by side heading up to Quarry Bend. Can Alex Toth-Jones do exactly what Mikko Raskinen did in the last race, going around the outside through Quarry? If he gets the run in the i30, he's going to have the opportunity, and he sweeps past before they even hit the apex on the corner. That's brilliant stuff from Alex Toth-Jones there. And here comes Dave Marshall trying to go towards the outside through into the cutting, and can't get through. They'll go into the right at Griffin's Mount, and then through into Reed Park. But wow, this is brilliant.
These are experienced racers here, but I've just got a funny feeling about this gaggle.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is... Oh, Toth-Jones runs wide, going through. Oh, and he clatters into the right-hand side of the barriers. Alex Toth-Jones suffers a bit of a disaster there, unfortunately. And that allows Jack McIntyre and Dave Marshall to continue their battle, going through McPhillamy. Down in towards Skyline they go, and into the S's. Look at that front windscreen on Dave Marshall's car. That's even been in the trenches. But now they go through, down the descent, through the dipper, into Forest's Elbow, and now onto Conrad Straight. You're going to see just how hard these guys are pushing when they literally is halfway up the rev range, up to 6,500 RPM, when Dave Marshall shifts up another gear. Because you've got to extend that throttle as much as possible. His last lap was a 2 minute 18.292, and he was nearly as... Oh, McIntyre getting brave round the outside of Kobe Leakins for P6, and the Honda drags its way past the Alfa Romeo, just like Senna Proctor did on the last lap, as we're fast approaching the second half of this race here at Mount Panorama. And it has been absolutely astounding, as now Dave Marshall going towards the outside of Murray's Corner. Rob Butler, in the meantime, sets the fastest lap of the race at 2 minutes 16.379. Butler still in third place ahead of Senna Proctor. Then you've got West. Behind will be McIntyre. And then this good old shindig, which is Leakins, Marshall, Raskinen, and then Luke Whitehead as Alex Toth-Jones, I think as a result of that incident, might be very much a DNF, as Dave Marshall putting on the flashers at Bobby Leakins in the number 44 Alfa Romeo Giulietta to sort of like say, right, I need to get past you. He needs to fight, and he needs to keep on battling, so at least he can mitigate and exercise any damage control as we go into the second half of the race. And he's swarming all over the back of the Alfa Romeo, and Mikko Raskinen in that sneaky quick Golf is waiting in the wings with the ringside seat.
Absolutely. Look at them. It looks like they've been shot with it's a bulletproof glass, the way it's shattered. It's incredible.
I think it's more like someone's got the old 2.2 BB gun out again. That's what it looks like, and then it's just done the old spiderweb tactic on the front windscreens. But again, you can just see the amount of dented pixelation as we got as Whitehead looking up the inside of Raskinen, who in turn was looking up the inside of Marshall there. Oh, that could have been very, very messy, very, very quickly, and that was going through into Skyline there. But now Luke Whitehead sees an opportunity to try and get past, as there's a bit of a lock up there. Dave Marshall goes a little bit wide through Forest Elbow, as now it is a 4-car train battling away over 7th position, and we have a couple of different protagonists in this one. As now,
we all know what happened last time with the race for 7.
yes, we do indeed. As now Whitehead trying to pull alongside, as here comes McIntyre trying to go for 5th place through the chase. As he got it, the Alfa Romeo towards the inside of the corner. Oh, bumps onto the curbs, and McIntyre keeps it foot stuck in well and truly. Foot planted to the floor as Whitehead and Raskinen trying to go down towards Murray's corner side by side. But James West had the measure of Jack McIntyre there through and the exit of the chase, despite McIntyre trying to get the run through the right-hand exit and through into Murray's corner. That was a great job there by Gamer Muscle to keep muscling himself in front of Jack McIntyre. But we know how good McIntyre is, and he's now closing up to the number 07 Alfa Romeo Giulietta in 5th position, up Mountain Straight, heading towards the right-hander at Quarry Bend. And if I'm completely honest here, Martin, I think it's not going to be... Oh, my goodness me. Oh, Marshall, Raskinen and Whitehead absolutely interlocked. And Whitehead now up into 8th position. Raskinen now down into 10th behind Marshall. And just behind them is the recovering Isaac Smith. And with them is Max Bird.
Incredible racing. Look at this lot. This isn't going to end well.
I think in the words of the famous song, there may be trouble ahead.
Oh,
well, there nearly was trouble there for Gobby Leakins as he just glanced the wall. Oh, up the inside comes Luke Whitehead, sweeps up the inside through. That was through Solomon Park. Oh, brilliantly done there by the 21. Move. Oh, threading the eye of the needle. Through into Solomon, got the job well and truly done before the apex had even occurred, and made it stick by McPhillamy. That is hand on heart. That's, I think, if I'm honest, Martin, that has to be one of the best overtakes, if not the best overtake this season. Oh my goodness me, that was brilliant. It was
a stonking move, absolutely brilliant.
And now we go back to West and McIntyre. We're now on with James West, who's got plenty of viewers watching his stream at the moment. Currently in P5, but McIntyre looks to have gotten ahead, and he has at the moment. Because last time, West did a 2-minute 19.694. McIntyre did a 2:18.9. As now, Marshall and Leakins battling away over 7th position. And Dave Marshall, I think in many respects, has an opportunity. But look at the gap between 1st and 2nd. I think that Max Coates is struggling. Max Coates is really struggling. The pace that he's having in comparison with Andy Carroll, who's absolutely flying in the Cupra Leon. The last lap was a 2-minute 16.851 for Carroll in the 95 Cupra. As up the inside of Cobby Leakins goes Isaac Smith for 9th position. Oh, as Leakins runs wide, as does Raskinen, and that allows Max Bird to get past the pair of them up into P10. Great stuff.
I think Max Coates must have had a moment there because he's just pulling away. So something's happened off camera, but I think we'll pick it up. This is great racing. This is going to be carnage. 5 minutes to go.
Yep, just over 5 minutes remaining. Max Bird has now set the fastest lap of the race, a 2-minute 15.446. He's battling away with race 1 victor Isaac Smith for what is 9th position on the road. Dave Marshall is just up ahead. Senna Proctor, I think, has got a very good chance of being at the lead once the standings have been confirmed and officially ratified later on this week. He's currently P4 at the moment, 7.2 seconds behind Rob Butler, who's 3 seconds off of Andy Carroll. But this battle is still not abating by any stretch of the imagination. It is currently being led by James West. Dave Marshall is just behind as Max Bird looking towards the outside through McPhillamy on Isaac Smith, but Smith shuts the door firmly in the Honda Civic driver's face there quite substantially, and that was a cut-off and a half. Then you've got Mikko Raskinen in this as well, as there is Andy Carroll. He is closing on the back bumper as he's literally bouncing off the rev limiter in 6th gear, heading through the exit of Conrod into the chase. And Max Coates not that far ahead now, as this time around Max Bird goes towards the outside through down Conrod Straight alongside Rubb's door panels with Isaac Smith there as they go into the chase. And this time, Max Bird will have the run. He's got the inside line. Oh, the pair clash a little bit, and that allows Smith to run wide. But then Bird just keeps ahead, and here comes Raskinen. Oh, he clashes into the side of the high-end line, hits the wall on the entrance into the pit lane, and spears off into the other side. Oh, my goodness me. 2 dramatic incidents for Isaac Smith. He was on the receiving end, and Mikko Raskinen, unfortunately now, that is a substantial amount of damage on that Volkswagen Golf, and he will bring the 26 into the pit lane with 3 minutes and 20 still to go, plus an additional lap. Meanwhile, Luke Whitehead is trying to battle his way back forward. He's done a great run so far, and he's just behind Jack McIntyre in the 37. He pulls out to the right-hand side of Mountain Straight as Max Bird now gets past Dave Marshall for 7th position on the very same stretch of tarmac. Great move there by both Whitehead on McIntyre and Bird on Marshall to take 5th and 7th respectively.
This isn't over. He's after him.
Yes, it's one thing to get the position, it's another thing to keep it all together.
Yeah.
However, look at Andy Carroll. Max Coates has not got is really, really just showing how good things are getting, because Max Coates not getting away lap after lap. At the end of it all, Andy Carroll is just under 6/10 away from Max Coates. We could potentially, I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed substantially here. Could we have a 12th different winner out of 18 races? Well, the way things are going with 2 minutes and 2 seconds plus an additional lap, when we cross the start-finish line next time, it will be the penultimate lap. Max Coates will have to hang on for effectively 12.426 kilometres, or effectively 7.6 miles, 7.7 miles, to keep Andy Carroll at bay.
He must have a problem with his tyre degradation or something like that, because Max Coates is a wily fox. He'll know how to drive it and defend it, but something's obviously gone wrong. He had a stonking lead.
He did, but Andy Carroll, well, not last lap. Look how close Carroll is. He did a 2 minutes 16.975 on that last lap, and now Max Coates has just done a 2 minutes 17.623. Well, that really does show that things are changing significantly as they go through into Quarry Bend. Jack McIntyre still trying to chase down Luke Whitehead, but I think he's going to have to settle for it. But let's go to the great move there by our broadcast director to go to our 2 leaders. They've gone through Griffin's Mount into Reed Park, which they'll be heading through into now. Then it's into the right at Sulman before they drop down the dip into McPhillamy. And Max Coates knows that he could end up taking a 4th victory, but I'm sure that as much as there is virtual sunshine in New South Wales, Andy Carroll will be on his case, and the gap 0.2 of a second going through down into Skyline, down into the S's, into the Dipper. Oh my goodness me, and Andy Carroll looks to be fully charged up and ready to go for it, because now they come out of Forest Elbow, having come through the second half of the Dipper. As now we go interior-wise on board with Max Coates, the virtual Max Coates, I might add. So they now will come down Conrod Straight for the final, the penultimate time, as the timer strikes 0 here at the 9th and penultimate round of the Virtual Reality Racing Club Touring Car eSeries, being held here at the iconic Mount Panorama Circuit in New South Wales. So now into the chase. Oh, Carroll looks a lot closer on the braking. The main reason being is that because he's able to use Max Coates as a marker, as now this time around through into Murray's we go. 1 lap to go, 3.861 miles, 6.213 kilometres. Max Coates has 1 more lap to hang on, as Andy Carroll is 0.9 of a second adrift, but just behind him is the number 74 Honda Civic of Rob Butler, and that is still going to be very, very interesting in that respect as we go on board with Max Bird Oh, you can now look at the steering angle. The steering is absolutely not 100% tracking true. That car has been in the trenches here this evening.
Well, he's certainly finding a new norm, and he's still driving through it. So well done, Max.
Another reason to congratulate him there. There you go.
Max Coates struggles through the twisty bits, which makes me think that his tyres are shot, but he's ballistically quick on the straight. So I just think if Butler can get on to Carroll, it might just distract him enough to let Max Coates take the win.
Well, if I'm very, very much mistaken, I've just looked at the times. The slowest out of the top three was Andy Carroll at 2 minutes 18.569. But Rob Butler was the quickest out of the top three. He was quicker than by 1.2 seconds over Max Coates on that last lap. He put in at 2 minutes 16.901. Oh,
yeah, here we go.
Really getting close and personal with Carroll. Carroll senses that he could have his best ever finish in the Touring Car eSeries here at the Virtual Reality Racing Club as they now go down Conrod Straight for the final time here. 20 plus minutes of action. We've now gone into 22 and a half minutes. Oh, Carroll pulls alongside Max Coates. I didn't see that one coming as they now head down towards the last part of the circuit through into the chase. Can Andy Carroll get the job done? Oh no, Max Coates back up the inside through into the apex of the chase. And they get a little bit of a glancing blow as Rob Butler goes. He threaded that one through like a good one there, did Rob Butler. But round Murray's Corner here at Mount Panorama comes the 71 of Max Coates to win the exciting, dramatic penultimate race 2 of the season here at Bathurst. Oh, and my goodness me, that was close. Rob Butler got it nipped in the bud, just fractionally ahead. I think it was probably about less than a tenth of a second between him and Andy Carroll. Senna Proctor takes 4th place. Luke Whitehead recovers to finish 5th ahead of Jack McIntyre. Dave Marshall takes 7th position ahead of Isaac Smith, who after 2 dramatic incidents would finish in 8th place. Andy Mellors will take 12th place behind Corby Leakins, who finished in 9th. James West, who finished in 10th. Max Bird in 11th. Alex Toth-Jones will come across the start-finish line very, very shortly in 15th position ahead of Mikko Raskinen, who managed to get the damage repaired and get back out on circuit as Kenny Press. Rich Hayden, as the back bumper of that Audi looks very, very second-hand indeed, doesn't it? Looks. Let's just see if we can. Oh, now that's had a proper good old tap from the back, and every single panel on that car. Oh, as I say that, he looks like the right-hand side definitely not feeling very, very clever at the moment. And that just really shows, that's how, I think I can see dents on the front of it, dents on the back of it. I think every single panel, the windscreen's knackered. I think the roof is the only thing on that number 50 Audi RS3 that has not had a ding on it.
I think as Michael Yo, our producer, said, Control, Alt, Delete, Reset.
Well, he's got a week to do that, ready for the season finale at COTA in just a week's time, and in many respects. Here we are. Rich Hayden will cross the line in 18th position. Andy Derrick has pitted. We had 2 DNFs in the form of Josh Stanton and John Cole. Paul Laramie will be the last of the drivers coming across the line, but Max Coates becomes a 4-time winner. I didn't expect myself saying that this evening. That is 11 race winners from 18 different races. Max Coates provisionally. Now, all these, I'm sure that there will be some investigations post race. But, well, what a... Firstly, I think what I need to do is I need to jump into the interview booth with a couple of these drivers and have a chat with them. You fancy joining me, Martin?
Yeah, well, I'll pop in there. That's great. And, again, you know when things are good when it goes quickly. I used to say that to my ex.
Yes, but, time flies when you're having fun.
Absolutely. That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you.
Right, so first things first. I can't believe I'm saying this, Max Coates. You are a 4-time VRRC Touring Car eSeries race winner this season. Well done, buddy.
To do with some weights, all right, isn't it? So,
Yeah, and I know. I mean, you had what? 80 kilos, 80 or 90 kilos coming into this. Still
Quite a
kept
lot.
Andy
Yeah.
Carroll at bay. But one of the biggest things that I wanted to ask you was it a bit of did you have a moment, sir? Because you were leading by
Which
a
one?
clear Yorkshire mile, and
Yeah.
I saw the gap go from like 5 seconds to like 0.8, and I was like, what's happened here? Just explain in your own words, my good man, what
I
exactly
think-
happened.
Is it called the chase, the little right-hand kink, as you come down the back straight?
It is.
Think I just forgot to brake really for the next corner.
So you effectively
well
did
across
it.
the grass.
So you effectively did an Alex Wurz then.
Yeah,
You ran out of talent.
I'm not sure whether that's where I actually lost the time though. It might have been somewhere else. So, yeah, I had a few moments. I had one brush against the wall, but my game plan was try and get a good start, get everybody battling behind, and then try and check out in the first 2 or 3 laps. And I think I had built up a pretty decent lead, and that's really what's done me to the end, to be honest.
Well, you did your Sebastian Vettel-esque Red Bull style getaway, and yeah, a couple of laps you were off and away ahead of everybody else. But Max, that was a really good performance. I mean, but then obviously we have to look at Andy and Rob who were battling behind you. You know, Andy was on your case for the last few laps and wasn't going to let you get away with that one easily, was he?
No, he had a look round. I knew which side I wanted him to be on, so I had to sort of try and make it go as late as possible. And I knew he would have the pace on me back down towards the final run. So yeah, I just tried to make sure my exit was as good as possible, and it was enough for him to only draw alongside. And I had to do a bit of outbraking into the final 2 corners. But yeah, it was settled by them.
Max, it's Martin here. Nice one, Max. That was a great drive. Really enjoyed watching that.
Cheers. It was zanging on at the end, but yeah, it was all right.
Good on you.
Cheers.
Right. Well done, Max. We'll see you at the season finale next week in 7 days' time at Circuit of the Americas, and hopefully you get a few laps in and enjoy that one as well, buddy. Well done this evening, and all the very best.
Cheers.
Right, first time I get to speak to this guy, I think. Andy Carroll. We'll go to you first of all, because I have spoken to Rob a couple of times before. But Andy, nigh on a victory in the VRRC Touring Car eSeries. You kept Max honest all the way through the race, and you pulled out nigh on a blinder through the chase on the last lap. But it was just like, then Rob just came and stole your thunder, didn't he? But you had a great race, didn't you?
That was a good race, and yeah, obviously Max got away a little bit at the beginning and had to try and chase him down a bit. And then yeah, on that last lap, I just tried to get as good an exit out of the that corner as I could, and down the straight. Sort of, he as he said, he knew which side he wanted me, so he pushed me onto the outside of the next corner, and couldn't quite outbrake him in there, and then Rob sort of nipped in and took second, but no, I think that was good racing right at the end there, and thoroughly enjoyed chasing Max.
Brilliant stuff. Well done, Andy. And let's see if the Cupra's got the speed at COTA next week in just 7 days' time. But great job this evening, mate, and well done.
Cheers. Thanks.
Last but by no means least, Rob Butler. Good to have you back on the podium. It's been a while since I last spoke to you, I think, if memory serves me correctly. Back at Zolder, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, my friend. If Rob can hear me. Rob, are you there?
Hello, guys. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can indeed.
Yeah, I had on mute for some reason. My apologies. Yeah, Zolder was the last time. Obviously, I've been carrying some ballast since, but that was definitely a race that got away. I was having some issues with stopping the car at the start, and I didn't know what was wrong. And halfway through the race, the rubber decided to split on my Husqvarna pedals. So I drove the last 4 or 5 laps with literally probably about 30-35% brake, something like that. So that's why.
So effectively, your Huskenveld pedals had turned from normal to the T800 specification. It done a bit of a Schwarzenegger on you there.
Well, I didn't have any stopping power whatsoever. I had literally about, I would say if I had 30% breakdown into the chase, I would be, I would have been doing well. I just had to drive the car on the front tires. I was touching the grass on entry, trying to slide the car to slow it down. But yeah, look, it was a mega race. I had some damage from the start. There was a big crash in front of me through the exit of turn 2. I just got on the brake pedal. Maybe that done the rubber well and good at that point. But we got through, picked our way through, and look for Andy. At the end, he was slow off the corner. I think he got a little bit caught on the cutback from Max, and it just gave me enough to get a run through up the inside. And yeah, they had a mega race on front. They drove very, very well, and yeah, it was really, really good fun. And 2 podiums in a day is always a good way.
Definitely, congrats! Yeah, because obviously you got one in race 1. You got 3rd place behind Isaac and Max, but well done, buddy.
One day we'll get to the top. One day.
Hey, listen, you got 2 more races to go. You've got every opportunity possible, Rob. But well done for tonight.
Thank
2
you.
podiums, and we'll see you next week at
See you
Circuit
next
of
week.
Americas. But last and by no means least, we have to speak to the man behind the Virtual Reality Racing Club himself, Mr. Rich Hayden. Evening, Rich.
Good evening.
Well, that was
fun, wasn't it?
That was pretty action packed, especially in race 2. We're not going to talk about everything with regards to yourself, because I know that you're a very, very busy man, and with everything that's going on. But firstly, again, this championship is going right down to the wire. We head to Circuit of the Americas, and I think we're going to decide our champion next week. How can I say it? I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. When you asked me to come back for this season of VRRC Touring Car eSeries, I didn't expect the fact that we now have 11 different winners from 18 different races. We have a 4-time race winner in Max Coates. We've got the likes of Jack McIntyre and Dave Marshall going head-to-head with Senna Proctor in the standings. What are your thoughts after what's been a brilliant 9 weeks so far?
Was that fun to watch?
That was a hell of a lot of fun to watch, and I'm sure that Martin will agree.
And hopefully we'll do.
Sorry, Mark. We've worked out how to. Rich, we've worked out how to fix your car, and it's Control Alt Delete resets it.
That sounds about right. Oh dear me! I thought I got away. Well, I got away with it in race 1. Had a reasonable race. Got stuck behind James West for quite a long time, and then into race 2, I thought, yes, I'm through this, and then just got stuck in. And then two different huge impacts. My steering wheel was 90 degrees to the left while I was driving straight. Jumped into the pits to get a repair. The mechanics were sat on their arse. They didn't do anything. Went round again, came back in, got a repair, and then just trailed round at the back. But I loved it. It's really good fun, and hopefully to watch for everybody as well.
It was brilliant. Thank you.
Just one thing quickly, Rich. Obviously, there are still a lot of developments. You've just VRRC have just recently announced a GT4 series coming soon, if memory serves me correctly. How are things looking with that at the moment?
It's looking really good. We're just in the first stages at the moment, taking entries. It's filling up extremely quickly. So we have a couple of spaces left. Entry closes at the end of this week. So really looking forward to that. 8 rounds. GT4 cars from the amazing Gorilla Mods running on AC. Some really good circuits to come. I'll keep that stum for the minute. But I can't wait to get that running. And then after that, we've got another Touring Car Season 3. Which is looking really good. We've already got a number of British Touring Car drivers signed up for that, so really looking forward for that as well. And then going into the winter, we'll have Season 2 of the Mini Challenge JCW, which we ran during lockdown, which was massively successful, and hopefully will be even better this time. And then we're also running a Formula winter season as well. And there is another secret project in the background that myself and Mr. Max Coates are working on at the moment as well. Something big coming, hopefully, for the winter. Bigger than what we've already said.
Well, all I can say, in the words of Monty Python, it's nudge, nudge, wink, wink, say no more.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but no, really exciting times. So if you want to find out anything more about Virtual Reality Racing Club, head to the website URL that's on the top of your screens at home. Rich, Kota, thoughts ahead of that track next week? Because that looks to be a belter, mate. What a way to finish the season in style. Season 2 of Touring Car eSeries here on VRRC.
So I think I've said this every round. I need to do some practice. Hopefully I'll be able to fit it in. Kota genuinely is another one of the circuits that I picked, which I knew would be an amazing track to drive, but I need to get up to speed on that. I did a load of practice at Bathurst and had really good times on there, but Bathurst is just evil if you get it crossed up and somebody crashes in front of you. So
I was watching you, Rich.
Oh really?
Yeah, you were in there early.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
Yeah, so,
Love your commitment.
Thanks, mate.
No worries. Well, cheers, Rich. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week at the season finale at Kota.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Martin, and thank you always to Mike in the background running the stream from Simply Race. Done a great job. Thanks, mate.
No worries. Thanks a lot, Rich.
Yeah, see you in the green room.
Yeah, cheers. Good night.
So, Martin, we go into the season finale in just 1 week's time. We head to Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas. 11 different winners from 18 different races. We have had an absolute ball so far. I cannot wait for what happens next.
I'm really looking forward to next Tuesday and the Circuit of Americas. It's a great circuit, and let's see where the championship standings are going into that. The permutations are going to be. I have to get the abacus out.
Well, I think I'll leave that to the professionals, but obviously we will. They will be posted via the relevant social media channels through MSL Motorsport Consultancy, through Virtual Reality Racing Club. So, on behalf of Martin Jones, I'm Alex Goldschmidt. Thank you very much for tuning in. For those wondering, if you want to get your hands on these particular touring cars that we're using throughout the Touring Car eSeries, head to Tommy's Touring Cars, because at the end of the day, it's a fantastic job what Tommy has done. Some great looking vehicles, and you can race them on this particular platform. Thank you very much for watching. Good night for now, and we will see you in 1 week's time in Texas.